I would now like to ask Marc Dreyfors to come to the podium on behalf of the Nicholas School Alumni Council to welcome our graduates to the ranks of the Nicholas School and the Duke University alumni, and to introduce our student speaker. Marc is a current, wait a second, Marc. There's a joke I like to tell, and everybody's heard it, but I like to tell anyway. So what the hell? And that, you know, I spend so many times in the academic world, once I get started, I speak for 50 minutes, and that's just the way it is. So stay seated, Marc. Marc is a current member of the Nicholas School Alumni Council. He earned his Master of Environmental Management degree in 1990. And since then, he has stayed true to his commitment to the environment while also embracing the entrepreneurial spirit in a variety of endeavors related to renewable energy and sustainability. Currently, Marc is manager at Greenway Trust, the Triangle's first and only full-service green transportation business for biodiesel buses to pedicabs, powered by biodiesel and burritos, I understand. Tastes good, smells good. He is multi-talented. He's also founding manager of the Carolina Biodiesel, Durham's first biodiesel plant and retail location. Carolina Biodiesel distributes plant biodiesel and collects and processes West Veggie oil as part of a community-supported energy project. In addition, if that is not enough, Marc is president of the Forest Foundation, Incorporated, a 501c3 dedicated to promoting sustainable livelihoods through environmental education and green business development. Great example of someone who is making a difference in the environment, who is truly committed to the environment, but is also doing this not only in the nonprofit sector, but also in the profit sector. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you Marc Dreyfors.
Wow, you did it. Congratulations, everyone. Don't worry about the sleep deprivation. I remember when I was up preparing for my exams and the end of class, I learned the beauty of wolf naps. You'll have plenty of time to catch up later looking for work. I'm hoping that won't be too hard. This is probably the deepest recession we've had since the Depression. But I'm here as a little bit of a reality check, but also to welcome you into this transition period from one community to another. And I'm hoping that you all will be gainfully employed before too long. But I want to let you know that times are tough, and we've been out in the trenches doing this type of work from the grassroots, from the bottom up, trying to do an entrepreneurial venture where we start businesses, start nonprofits, get them going, and try to keep them going. I only have a few moments to speak here, and I'll post my speech on our website if anybody's interested, but I wanted to do a little bit of reminiscing and then tell you what you can do as alumni from the school, what you can do to serve and how you can serve the school in the future. I also wanted to provide a little bit of wisdom from our experiences in the trenches and introduce our next speaker. This is a great honor for me, and I've been thinking about what I would say to you all as a alumnus, and what each of you, the different constituents, would want to hear. And so I must say that I missed my graduation as well, Dean. This is an interesting experience for me. I was actually out on the Western field trip, and then tagged along with one of our fellow classmates studying and interviewing folks on wolf reintroduction in Yellowstone. That was an incredible trip, and my time here at Duke was some of the best times of my life. I want to thank Lynn McGuire for actually passing me in decision analysis, Dan Richter for actually wading through my 100-page plus MP. I don't know if I still hold the record, but Karen, anybody? 300. Is that what it was? No, it was not. I actually looked at the implications of oil and gas development off the coast of North Carolina and did my internship with the state Outer Continental Shelf Office during the summer. And is that not timely? And how about that oil spill? There's no doubt that cheap fossil fuels are killing us. I recently tried to squeeze back my way into this debate about the Outer Continental Shelf through Senator Bass-Knight's committee that Mike Orbach chairs, but I haven't had any luck so far. I hope they maybe read a little bit of my paper, my MP. So when I was at Duke, the Valdez spill had occurred, and that was a real eye-opener for all of us. We all looked at each other kind of going, well, what can we do about it? And we realized that we're driving around in vehicles that get 10, 15, 20 miles per gallon. It was hard. It rubs deep. When I graduated the program, I was hoping, actually, with that background, to work for the oil industry and infiltrate the evil empire. No luck. They wanted geologists, engineers, and MBAs. I guess that was before my time. But I also want to thank Mary Catherine Williams, who's here somewhere, my partner in Fair Trade Venture and director of our nonprofit for years, putting up with my entrepreneurial efforts and the stress on the relationship and driving me here today, which in fact is important because I probably would have ridden my bike and be wearing shorts. And that has been the ire, I think, of the administration for quite some time. I was at the reception for Robert Redford last year and had my shorts on because I was getting ready to go actually do a pedicab run and right after the reception. And Robert Redford looked at me and then looked down and smiled. And I think that's what the administration does from here on out. They've been looking at me and then looking down. So it's part of that Marine Lab experience, the croquet, I don't know. I must say, though, I am very proud of the pedicabs. We did bring pedicabs to Durham. I just wish they were more successful. We need more advertising for them. So I didn't get that job with BP. I ended up actually selling women's handbags instead of working for the oil industry. They're cool handbags, natural fiber, made from women, rural villages, sustainably harvested. For years, we ran a fair trade sale in the lobby of the LSRC, selling handicrafts from some of the most biologically diverse places on the planet, working with CI, TNC, WS, Peace Corps, and USAID projects around the world. We moved millions of dollars of these items, gypsying them around to trade shows across the country. Our greatest achievement was probably educating thousands of people about fair trade and biodiversity conservation. And I was actually hoping to endow a wing of the school with the money that we made. Don't laugh. People do have fetishes, and handbags are one of them. They're not quite at the level of coffee, tea, and chocolate or drugs, but close. We moved containers of these items like a commodity. The funniest scene was when a 40-foot container showed up at our house in South Durham, and MK and I hustled to unload the container with a wheelbarrow. The driver watched in awe, and the house smelled of Madagascar for months. Oh, the life of the entrepreneur. Unfortunately, we just could not get the willingness to pay the price that we needed to include all the costs of these goods, particularly the carbon footprint to take them around the world. Thanks to the suppression of the yuan by the Chinese, all crafts, even from the poorest nations, seem expensive. Maybe it was our tagline, world going to hell, try our handbasket. I don't know. What we learned is that we will not consume our way to sustainability. We will need to reduce our consumption dramatically, particularly if we want the rest of the world to develop. Some of you all may also know me from my bus driving hat. We have been shuttling Dell students for several years and take Norm's ecology class out on field trips. In fact, I leave here to go to the Environmental Visioning Project over in Carborough to push for our pedicabs and support for them, and then to run the biobus for the Piedmont Wildlife Festival. This is really where I make my money, driving a bus, running on biodiesel, It's a little embarrassing to have school kids say, "You're the smartest, coolest bus driver we've ever had." I'm one of the very few Duke grads, in fact, with a CDL, hazmat, and tanker endorsements, as well as Homeland Security clearance. We add value to waste veggie oil collected locally and made into fuel and used in a range of vehicles. But let me go back to you all. I love this school, its history, its collective impact, its students. I came to the school because of its forest history. My family's money came from forest products industry and supported me in my whole life, and 2 of the organizations have forests in their names. I stayed in Durham because of this school. We didn't get a job. I actually didn't get a job either, but Karen didn't help. I think she did it on purpose. Hoping to continue to engage students and faculty in a dialogue on the entrepreneur skills needed. It is good to see the dean developing such a program now. What I loved most and learned most from was my fellow students and classmates. I see the resume of these students coming through the program, and it is mind-boggling. What is it with you guys? I could never get into the school now. It seems you all fell out of the crib with direction, motivation, and grades as well as experience. I still can't figure out what I'm going to do when I grow up, but became fascinated with returning Peace Corps students, the intractable nature of biodiversity loss, and this issue of market externalities. It is not just perseverance and hard work anymore. You have to be immensely creative and savvy. I feel I'm probably the least successful graduate of this program that I know of. But as in any good experiment, even in failure, we learn. But what is success? If experience is a measure, then we have lots of it. Sadly, that experience is not being maximized. We have a blog, and you get emails from folks thanking us for information, but it doesn't pay the bills. The sad thing about the range of monetarily challenged ventures, besides the debt, is that it burns you out. The stress of pinching pennies day in and day out will slowly work on you, affect your credit, and keep you from growing the business when things finally turn around. And I think we're there. I think times are changing. Energy volatility is hell on small businesses, and even locally produced biodiesel is tied to petroleum in many ways. Hindsight is 20/20, but to me, I think everybody should get a real job, stay out of debt, and do the entrepreneur thing on the side. If you have to sell out, work for the man, or have less control, don't forget to fight like hell for the little guy. The small business employs 2/3 in this country of our employees. Greening of the little guy gets little talk. Mostly we hear about the big corporations and the triple bottom line, which I find atrociously misinformed. Anybody who's taken optimization knows that if you optimize for 2 variables that are human, we're going to definitely overweight against the environment. What we have learned is that enormous sums are needed to manipulate markets, and social media yet is changing that. We have also learned firsthand what Airily, the professor over in public policy, has shown in experiments, that we cannot expect altruism to provide the margins we need to internalize true costs. And you cannot mix the motivations of consumers, or you will get neither altruism or the sale. We are just not wired correctly to use market forces to save our planet. The system is so broken, and massive change is needed to level the playing field. So what does it mean to graduate from NSOE today? As you see in the name change of the school over the years, and in the concentration changes, things are dynamic. We are in a very rapidly changing environment. We no longer need to be just good scientists or economists, policy people. We also need to be good community members, sensitive and empathetic to a range of stakeholders and truly committed to helping others and each other. I use very little of what I learned in school, but I learned a lot, particularly about the process of learning. My favorite professor in undergrad used to say, "Don't let your education get in the way of your learning." I am always learning and have learned that I'm no expert. The world is too dynamic, and it is all moving targets. I just wish the econ classes had included the part about humans and their predictably irrational behavior. We have based our whole modus of operation on rational actors in free markets and objective self-interested thinkers. Nothing is further from the truth. We are truly struggling with the words that we need to build the future. We've gone past sustainable to need things like rejuvenative and restorative structures and principles. Even the university is captured by the same old paradigms we are trying to change and shift out of. The university is a place of great creativity and ingenuity, revolution, yet is full of issues of bureaucracy, turf, and ego that keep us from moving forward. Ambition, competition, hypercritical thinking, and perfection drive us, yet also undermine our ability to connect and find balance, to open our eyes and to step back and get perspective. The world is changing so fast, we must be able to lift our heads regularly and get our bearings, moral compass, and clamp down and dig hard. The tools you've been provided are excellent, but not the end. Take some time for reflection, get into open spaces in the natural world, and learn to take time to rejuvenate. We need balance, we need to reconnect to the earth and to each other and build strong new relationships. As you transition to your new community, take these things with you. Share and bring others along. Spend less time on career building and more on relationships with the world and the people around you from all walks of life. I've learned a lot from working in East Durham in the last 5 years. I believe it's harder working there than in many of the developing countries we've had worked. It is tragic. We are scared by our past, and it's hard to get people to look beyond race to that which unites us all, the natural world. We know it knows no color and is blind, yet the damage to the poor will begin as the roller coaster of climate disruption starts. We must look to these communities on which to base our policies. As alumni, you can engage and give back to the school, to this community, and help it become better. If you don't have the money to endow a wing with basket sales money, then give your time, participate in alumni events, engage the students. They need to hear you and your experiences. Help change the curriculum to give them the tools they need to prepare for the future. This is enormously helpful, and I've heard this over and over from students. This is a community. It is good to see the dean's new initiatives, and things are changing rapidly here at the school. The school is to lead this century is still the poor kid on the Duke block. And it's shameful to see so little resources allocated to an area that will literally keep us from crashing our planet. Resources are caught up in old paradigms. This has to change if we're going to succeed. As Gore challenged us in his talk, we have a moral duty. E.O. Wilson recently said that it is a sacred duty to protect the planet. Where are the educational tools for these approaches? In America today, the political right and the small group of fervent activists control much of the debate. They tend to be fundamentalists, hold literalist interpretations of the Bible, libertarians bound by outdated and perceptually challenged ideology, or corporate free marketers. How do we speak to these people, their fears, their hopes? What unites us? Today, the thing I'm most proud of is when I was here at the school, I initiated a dialogue between the Divinity School and the School of the Environment. Today, you have a joint degree and a course in environmental ethics that the students say is wonderful. The future is scary. I feel we're off the cliff and don't quite realize it. The science from all areas points to massive extinction events in our lifetimes. Yet, there are great things happening at the local level. It has been slow to get here, but everything we need here is here now. We cannot sit idle, distracted, caught in some cultural relativism, saying there are many views. One is entitled to their own opinion, not their own facts. And the fact is that we have to change fast. As Gore said, go far, fast. But I'll leave you with this wisdom of Thomas Berry. He came up with this idea of reinventing the human at the species level. I first really had problems with this idea. I was skeptical. But now I understand that we as humans have to change the core of our understanding of ourselves, how we fit in and reconnect to the world, as if our very survival depends on it. I hope that your lives will seek out and find and embody grace, beauty, and the sacred duty that is our life. Good luck, everyone.